Hey, what's happening, people? How's it all going? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you're all doing well today, man. Really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on Football Therapy, where I go across football news media, consolidating everything that's being said about the Blues, presented to you guys in a manageable package, offering you my opinion, but more importantly, asking for yours. And Chelsea making moves, man. That's right, I did 2 videos yesterday, and just as I published my second, which talks about Thiago Silva, which has a great amount of momentum, I also comment on Lewis Dunk, and merely an hour after publishing that video, he's signed a new deal. Chelsea are still looking at Thiago Silva though, and it's a very real possibility. The Kai Havertz story moves on, and there's been a bit more of explosive momentum news / announcements regarding Ben Chilwell. The Chili Bee train is in full effect. So we got a lot to talk about, man. Let me take this wonderful opportunity though to urge and remind you all to subscribe to Football Therapy if you've not yet done so, and if you want to help a brother out, please do like this video. That's really kind of you. But dude, I'm uploading every single day. Actually, incorrect. I'm live streaming every single day over on my second channel, Jan's Yard, on a series called Chatting Balls. Appropriately named, I know. It's an interactive show where I talk to you guys about the world of football generally, most of the time mainly Chelsea. But transfers, news stories, we were talking about the Harry Maguire in a Greek prison yesterday. Do subscribe to Jan's Yard, link in the top of the description. Road to 10k. Alright then, let's get into it. Boys and girls, if you watch Football Therapy, you will know that I personally thought Lewis Dunk would have been an excellent choice for Chelsea in terms of availability or seeming availability, and in terms of player profile, what Chelsea's backline needed. He signed a 5-year deal extension with Brighton. The slam dunk train has crashed. Now, does this mean he's going to be there forever? No, probably. A new deal doesn't really mean much. A lot of the time it can be insurance, but to be honest, the way I perceive this is that he will not be coming to Chelsea. It was reported in The Athletic that he did want to go to a top 6 club, and he's a Chelsea fan, he likes the idea of going to Chelsea, but I think Chelsea, after making an inquiry, they weren't happy with the cost of his valuation by Brighton, so they lost interest, therefore he signed a new deal. Whatever, we move. So when it comes to centre half, we've got a few options floating around the left. There's probably 3 most notable ones in the media. Chelsea are very, very interested, of course, in Declan Rice. Frank Lampard wants to play him as a centre half, yet also perhaps use him as a CDM option. He'd love to come back to Chelsea. That deal would be excellent, but West Ham aren't very interested in selling him, and they'd charge an incredible amount of money. So this summer, that deal is looking less and less likely. Seemingly also too expensive, certainly this summer. Jimenez of Atletico Madrid, relatively young defender. Diego Simeone trained centre half, does sound like just the tonic for a leaky Chelsea defence. He's got an incredible buyout clause. I really like him. Certainly I liked what Matt Law said about him, that he could be Chelsea's Virgil van Dijk in terms of a transformative purchase for the defence. That does sound very good indeed. But again, he'd cost a gargantuan amount of money for Chelsea to bring to the club, certainly this window anyway, so we might have to put a pin in that one as well, alongside Declan Rice. And with Slam Dunk now off the menu, what's gonna happen? Suddenly this Thiago Silva makes more and more sense. Obviously I've reported on this a couple of times recently, how he's a free agent, how Chelsea are in, quote, advanced talks to secure the signature of the Paris Saint-Germain centre-half. It's a madness. He's going to be 36 years old by the time he'd play for Chelsea, so it's no one can call how it would go, but it's a blockbuster Hollywood box office move, that's for sure. So that's interesting at least. We'll see what happens. Things are starting to move quickly now in terms of news stories being published at least, and hey, here on Chelsea News, that's what we do. We evaluate the headlines, what's being said, and we discuss it together, and so far, more and more stuff happening, but that's what's happening with the defenders. Sticking in the back line, Ben Chilwell. That's right, Chili Bee, with names like Sergio, Reguilón, other players being available. Simon Johnson, since the turn of the year, always maintained, Simon Johnson of The Athletic that is, Ben Chilwell is Frank Lampard's #1 target, and he heard from a long time ago he will be he said from a very long time ago, he would be very surprised if Ben Chilwell does not sign for Chelsea this summer. Now, he made that comment so long ago, and obviously left backs have come and gone in terms of being linked to Chelsea in football media, but Ben Chilwell has always been bubbling under the surface. Perhaps the media and Chelsea fans, and indeed Leicester fans, got the perception of it maybe being off because Leicester charging a lot of money. I think also Brendan Rodgers might have waved away the notion a couple of times, but Frank has always wanted him, Ashley Cole has always wanted him, Ben Chilwell has always wanted Chelsea. Now, there was a story that I reported on a few days ago, or a little while ago, from a Leicester podcaster that he'd cleared out his changing room at Leicester and went down to London for a medical in a few days, or medical expected in the coming days. Now, David Ornstein and Liam Twomey published an article on The Athletic yesterday, pretty much insinuating that this deal is very close indeed. He has actually had medical checks at Chelsea, or Chelsea have been informed of medical checks regarding an injury in his heel that they wanted to see what was going on. So whether this is the official medical or not, he's had some form of medical where Chelsea have been kept in the loop. Now, maybe this was the previously rumoured medical coming in a few days, but it all looks pretty positive. Leicester would not let Ben Chilwell go and make these checks if they weren't on the verge of completing a transfer with Chelsea Football Club. And this is exactly what David Ornstein and Liam Twomey are suggesting, that the deal is almost imminent to the tune of 45 to 50 million pounds. Now, if Chelsea end up signing Ben Chilwell for 45 million pounds, 40 million cheaper than Harry Maguire, damn. Suddenly, that's looking okay. Considering he's a Premier League player, 23 years old, long contract, English as well, and generally, when in form, granted he hasn't been in form for a while, a very good left back. Chelsea can be very happy indeed if they secure the signature of Ben Chilwell for 45 million. It does sound like, regardless, he's not going to be the world record fee for a left back, which was going to be assumed regardless. I think it's 52 million or 55 or something like that. So he's going to be under 50. To be honest, man, me as someone who had reservations that was on and off the Chili B train, I'd be very happy with that. Now, to those of you who still have big reservations and doubts about Ben Chilwell, take a moment and reflect. First of all, I'd like you guys to all look from the perspective of the manager. You aren't the manager of Chelsea. We all have ideas of players we like and seemingly ones that are performing better at the moment, but that doesn't mean they're going to be right for Chelsea. Frank Lampard, as the manager of Chelsea, who sees the players day in, day out, who has his idea of where the team's going and the play style is going, has decided Ben Chilwell is the right player for him. Also, he's got the backing of his coaching staff and, Ashley Cole, the best left back in Premier League history. I've cited it before when I apologise that I forgot who tweeted it, but someone did tweet out a statistical comparison on Twitter of him and Sergio Reguilón, which was like another FIFA fan favourite, about how all their stats hold up against each other, bearing in mind one's playing in the Premier League as well, and one's playing in La Liga. Ultimately, Sergio Reguilón was better offensively, Ben Chilwell was better defensively. Chelsea's biggest problems are defensive, certainly down that left-hand flank, so off the bat, Ben Chilwell is more appropriate, but more appropriate for this Chelsea team in the fact of his other attributes and play style. He's taller, he's good in both boxes. Chelsea are poor at defending and attacking set pieces, little things like that. He has these small traits that plug the exact holes that Chelsea have in their defence and indeed their attack or just open play systemically. Just because he's not the most glamorous and sexy signing at the moment, he fills the needs of Frank Lampard's defence and Chelsea's system generally. He's identified this player that he wants to move forward with and build his Chelsea side. He's found it. Chelsea are getting it. For that reason alone, all Chelsea fans should absolutely back Ben Chilwell at Chelsea. He really wants to be here. It's really exciting. Just the beginning of last season, he was still highly rated and everyone was definitely putting him in the top 3 left backs in the Premier League, and he's very young as well, so think about all of that. Ben Chilwell is England's starting left back and he will absolutely back himself to keep developing and get better, and with the backing of Chelsea fans behind him, he'll be in a great environment to do so. So we should do exactly that. If we get him for £45 million, I'm very, very happy with that deal. Anyway, what do you guys think? I'm really keen to get everyone's thoughts and opinions on these developments. It does look like Ben Chilwell is almost imminent. Who knows, Thiago Silva and Kai Havertz to follow. I'll give you guys updates on those stories as they surface in the media. But get down into the comment section below and express your thoughts and opinions on these stories. I'll be down there reading them. If you've enjoyed the content, do us the favour, mate. Like the video. Subscribe to Football Therapy if you are new to the channel, and why not go check out Jan's Yard, as I'll be streaming on there later. Other than that, that's it from me. Enjoy the football, and I'll see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy talk. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me baby.